Good morning. Please tell me this is not relaxing. Today, or this morning, we're on another sojourn around the allotment. In fact, this is my neighbour's plot who's kindly consented for us to film, or me to film. I love this area. It's a nice chill out zone. It's at the back, shady, and this pond might just look decorative, but it serves several purposes. One, it helps the owner relax. Two, this pump is actually powered by a solar panel which is halfway down the pot and will pass after, helping to aerate and provide life for plenty of baby frog and toad tadpoles. It's safe. It's got that metal grill that's attached on. It doesn't prevent the passage of the amphibians moving in and out. It stops the birds going in for a mooch. But perhaps more importantly, for me anyway, the kids love this place, and for living in a big city it is a really great place to learn about nature, and for me that says it all. As we look around, we've got a couple of baskets up there with Dacia and I think Bacopia. I'll try and not to move too quick because I know it's a bit of a crime. Compost neatly lined at the back and covered. See a fruit cage there which we'll have a peer in. I love the border of this small raised bed filled with spring pansies and other summer flowers now which I don't know the name of. The apple tree there is sunburst. I can tell you that does really well up here. If you're from this area and you're looking for an apple tree that does well outside of the usual James Grieve, sunburst. Halfway looking rhubarb. Got another bed here with, as I understand, some heritage varieties of peas that include Telephone, I think that's also Alderman, and Champion of England. And you notice on the left and right there some tomato tumblers that are just getting going along with the summer. It's nice that everywhere is bordered with a little bit of flowers, gives everywhere that nice feeling. I think we should give a minute or two to the shed. It's a regular shed at the back with this extension added, and the extension I think really serves a good purpose. It's actually, as you can see on the base and the top, not sealed. And for purposes of drying veg, potting on, it's absolutely great because it never gets too warm and the flow of air dries everything off. Hanging basket there with a dwarf variety of sweet pea. I mentioned that first fruit cage, which we'll have a look at shortly, but this is mysteriously out of the fruit cage. It's one pushed by the catalogues here in the UK for the last few years. Probably many of you have got a small bush. This is 4 years old, along with a small dwarf variety just to help pollinate. It's a honeyberry, relative of a honeysuckle, and I've been asked to try one. I've never tried one. They look very much like blueberries. In fact, the whole plant does. Let's have a go. This looks quite purple. Like a blackberry before it's ripe, with a very sour aftertaste. Might be nice in jams with 15 tons of sugar added. I think this has been left out for the birds. Small pear Beth, love this one. In a good year, once it's producing really soft succulent fruit, and I think it's French. Our first fruit cage, let's have a look. A really great structure that could be clad if needed in the future, and that electric blue debris netting just gives it that really sharp feature. It might not to be to everyone's conservative taste, but to me it makes a statement. And the electric blue is actually covering some panel doors, which we'll shortly see. We have a nosy inside, which is what the purpose of this whole video is. Got some Desiree there in tubs, blueberries, summer raspberries, really tall, and I've got almost formed raspberries on. That's how you know, really, this time of year. A vast array of currants with a full range of white, red and black. And you can see these panels here. This is not blurred. These wee bits of bamboo open up the panel and you can get access. Stuck to my right here, there's a nice bed of rhubarb. Broad beans settling in very well. You can see they're beginning to produce now at the base. Tied in. We had a gale at weekend, this late in the year, mid-June, and without things being tied in, everything would be on the floor. Our baby Atlantic giant might not be the best year given it's blooming freezing. Dew on the floor, ground this morning on arrival. A climbing bean bed, runner beans, and an American heritage variety, cherokee, small black beans from what I understand. Cucurbit bed, squashes and courgettes, just establishing now the weather's turned for the nice. Just to point out a structural feature, there's another tumbler. We've got an arch that goes right across here with a couple of plants, including the vine and baby kiwi coming up it. That's going to get established and romp all over this. So there's a kiwi, dwarf poppy. Variety of gooseberries protected by the improvised bird scarer, and I think there's a red variety down here if we can see. I think it's clear the owner and her family want this year. Huge bed of Sundance sweet corn, looking very healthy and about to take off. Grow that is. Looking to the first of the greenhouses, there's two next door to each other. Plenty of baby plants getting off here. I understand there's some callaloo here, West Indian type plant. It's actually from Asia. I recognised the picture this morning when I was just having a quick gen up before I walked round, and in Asia, Southeast Asia, it grows like a weed. They eat it, Aramanthus, and it comes on growing everywhere in disturbed ground the start of a rainy season. So it's a warm plant, and that's why it's being set off in the greenhouse. Keep it on the greenhouse, we can have a nosy from the front. Some condensation here. Rampant tomatoes. Signs of someone brewing up. I love these dwarf sunflowers. I think there's a variety called Teddy Bear. I don't know if that's that, but they are nice. And at the back is, I think, the star of the show here, and that's a fig. It was checked last year in the late frost, but it came bouncing back, which I have to admit I wasn't sure it would. And the shelter of this greenhouse over winter is enough to keep those embryonic late summer baby figs alive, and actually there's several on. I don't know whether you can see in that shot. I'll try and get above the condensation. And I think that's going to live its life in that restricted pot. It's so important in producing in figs. Don't bother outside. You can, and if it's established it just dies back and starts again, but those embryonic figs won't come back. And there's not long enough in the season here for the new figs in the spring really to develop if it has to put its energy into regrowing back the shoots. More sweet peas getting into full stride. That's our chilli house. Peppers just coming on. As we saw in our last video, this is a cardoon. Spring onions, salad box over there, the other end of the arch that goes across. I hope I don't get in the sun with a wee birdhouse there. You remember this plot adjoins mine and it suffers the same problem, especially here, flooding. Yet look at this, we've got some adequate spuds growing, desiree and reddening strawberry bed. Up ahead are our asparagus beds. I think these are ginlim and backlim, the Dutch hybrids. I have done asparagus a few years ago, but I stuck with the seeds, and to me, if you're gonna do asparagus, these Dutch hybrids, some people have commented on, they're not the best tasting, but they are so vigorous, so productive. I just fail to see why anyone would not put these in. Assuming you want asparagus. Strawberry bed over there under netting. Brassica bed which we'll come to. Another fruit cage, the main fruit cage with 2 doors, the bird box. Filled with autumn and summer raspberries again. Down here is a new one. I think James Wong has figured it. It's, I think, affectionately known as Chilean guava. Not that frost hardy seemingly, according from the owner's recent experience, but the berries do look nice. I had a quick look on the computer this morning, and the base just filled with some strawberries. If you're going to do something like this, like the owner has done, don't bother with this cheap plastic netting. It will come off, it UV degrades. This really is nice netting. Seems a bit of an expense, but it's a false economy to do anything else in my opinion, and you'll end up redoing the work. Let's walk over to the brassica bed. Purple sprouting, still producing. Cabbage there. Collies, no heads on. Bit early. And those round leaves tell you it sprouts. An onion bed with some spare corn in the middle. Red onions. Never great up here, but let's see if they do well. I know you want to see inside that huge, well, I don't know really, coal frame. It's a new invention. I've seen them around. I'll call it a box. Sneaky looking. Okay, if you're from the UK you might not recognise these. If you're from warmer climes you might. Sweet potato. Herbs, lemon balm, sage, variety of things here. Chive, sorrel, thyme. Lots of strong tasting items there. I look at our main front cage here. There's a door on the side as well as this main entrance. You really have to net these things if you want a productive harvest here. There is so many birds, but predominantly it's the pigeons, and they will dive bomb the larger bushes to shake them off. They really are a nuisance. Elephant garlic over there. Let's have a look. I think they've sent their stalks out and are beginning to yellow, so they're probably ready sometime soon. Parsley up there. A top heavy form of parsley. Celery. Parsnips. Members of a beet family. Chards. The aniseed fennel. It's doing very well. Baby sweet corn. I think that's Fiesta. Fruit tree over here. various pots. I think there's 1 or 2 blueberries. That's the garlic. That's probably going to be coming to an end soon, given we've passed the longest day. Some healthy beetroot. And the owner's, again, taking a leaf out of James' Wong book and growing these dahlias here for the tubers. And as a byproduct, they'll look nice as flowers. Perhaps a slightly optimistic plant, outside melon. I could be proven wrong. We could be in for a scorcher. Yeah, don't hold your breath. Mange 2. And we've arrived at the front for the flower bed. Never remember the formal name for red hot poker, but I always know it sounds like Mark Knopfler. Lucerne stride, I think, dwarf poppies, Keelia. There's a red Keelia down here, you can see that. This climbing rose is about to burst out open and say English summer is here and ready to stay for all of a week. Alliums have become popular, at least the ornamental variety in recent years, and the price has come down too. If we have a look from the top, we can see the main fruit cage, cold frame cloche with the sweet potatoes, the other frame hidden behind that arch, the hub with the 2 greenhouses, and all of course are raised beds, because as we've seen in the past it floods. Hope you've enjoyed having a nosy at my neighbour's plot, and again I hope it gives people some ideas of things to do. But for now, I'll leave you. Goodbye.